Hello?
Hello. Hi. Hello, how are you?
Ivone, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm Maria Yaksich. How are
Hello,
you?
Eduardo.
I'm not hearing you yet. Let me see. We're having... Can you hear me?
Hello. I can hear Maria. I can hear you, Eduardo.
Oh, nice.
And Tony's on the line now. I just came on.
Hey, Tony,
Hello.
nice to meet you.
Yes. Senor Eduardo, thank you so much for accepting to meet with us.
I'm very excited to be here today.
Yes, we have a lot of history with the two organizations, although the Hispanic Chamber has become a fully staffed organization. The Hispanic Leaders Group has become a working board, has stayed a working board through the years. We do not went out and acquire grants for office or staff member. All of our energy went behind helping push what was happening with the HLG, which I don't know if you know the history, but the same founder, Anthony B. Ramirez, founded the Hispanic Leaders Group. And when people started coming to meetings for social stuff and things that were not business issues, he's seen that there was a place for an organization like the Hispanic Leaders Group where leaders can come together and work out some of the other issues and let each other know what they're doing so there is not duplication of efforts and so on and so forth. So we have been, I would say, sister organizations all these years. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has taken on a new growth or a different type of growth. The Hispanic Leaders Group has also taken on growth mostly behind the scenes, as we are a voice for the Hispanic community at large in Greater St. Louis. And we have taken on challenges and we have reacted to different challenges, social challenges that have happened in our area in the past, and we continue to do so. With the advent of the Hispanic community growing so much, we find that other groups have come around and we bring them into the fold in terms of helping with networking and other things. But that's a short history of the two organizations. So we wanted to welcome you so that we can continue that tradition of working together, and we're referring people that look on our now with E, right? With electronics, people come on to they Google Hispanic groups in the area when they first move in and they want to start a business, and I get an email or I get a phone call from my Google phone, then I immediately refer them to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Or if someone's looking for health services, I refer them to Casa de Salud, or, things like that. So we have a lot of people that contact either the chamber first, but they need services. We don't do direct services, but we help navigate to those direct services. The most direct service that we have is Hispanic Capital Day, Premio Esperanza, those kind of things. And of course, the Hispanic Scholarship Alliance. But anyway, thanks to everybody that's connecting. And I think Mauricio should give us some little bit of protocol. And then if you can let me know what you need to do so I can open up the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tony, for the introduction. I will wait for Mauricio's introduction too, and then kindly let me know, okay, when I can make my initial remarks.
Okay, I will wait for the 6 o'clock so I can give some instructions for the folks joining the call. I think the introductions is going to be driven by, I think, Maria, or it's going to be you, Yvonne, that are going to start this call.
Well, I thought that Tony will do the welcome for all the members, you know, and just say what the components of the meeting will be, you know, first part, and our feature guest, and of course the second part talking about the Capital Day, and then after he welcomes everybody, Yvonne will do the brief bio of Eduardo, and then Tony will take over and we'll go introduce, you will introduce our guest to the members, and then you'll be able to do your presentation. Eduardo, how's that sound?
That sounds great. It's going to be a brief presentation today. For me, the critical aspect today is to really make myself available to you all. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to meet you. I know you are very influential group in the St. Louis region, and I really want to be a part of that. I want to be involved, and I want to see the best way I can collaborate.
And then I will have some questions after your presentation. We'll have a couple questions that have been brought up to us, and whatever that's brought up to us on the chat, because we'll be asking the members to put questions for you, toward you in the chat, okay?
Okay, we can do that. We can do that.
Awesome.
I'm happy, yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait a couple of more minutes before I start.
Meanwhile, those that are on the line now, if you want to share your name and email in the chat for us to have some networking effect on this Zoom call, that would be great. I'm starting out with mine.
Well, yeah, let me write it down for everybody. Just give me a second.
Okay, for those people that are joining right now, we are waiting 1 more minute before we start this event. Okay, 6 o'clock it is. Let's start this event by giving some instructions about the ways of working for this event. We are gonna ask everybody to be muted. I'm gonna be muting people and just letting the speakers talk. If you have so please just mute yourself when you see that you are not muted. And also, if you have questions, please make those questions in the chat. And you see that the button of the chat is on the bottom of the Zoom. And that are the rules of this session. We're going to keep it as everybody muted and questions on the chat. And we're going to start this session with Tony to introduce the event. And with that said, I will give the word for you, Tony. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us tonight. This is our Hispanic Leaders Group General Membership Meeting, which is held traditionally every second Wednesday of every even month of the year. In other words, February. And I get a phone call right in the middle of all that. Sorry for that. So it's held every second Wednesday of every even month of the year. Tonight, I have the pleasure to present a person that, as you get to know him, you're going to see the marvelous things that he has done in the past and how fortunate we are that we're going to have him in St. Louis. And I hope we have him in St. Louis for many, many, many years. I am looking forward to future collaboration with Mr. Platon. He is the new president and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So with that, I'll have Yvonne do a little bio on him, and then we'll start our presentation from Mr. Edùardo.
Sure, certainly. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to be able to provide some important information as part of the welcome to Edùardo Platon to the HLG. And as Tony mentioned already, Edùardo was named Chief Executive Officer of the St. Louis Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in January of this year. Edùardo arrives from Brazil. He's an entrepreneur, a business executive, an author, and a politician, amongst probably other things that we will learn more about Edùardo. Edùardo holds an MLA degree from Tulane University, an MBA from the University of New Orleans, and a bachelor's from the Universidade Federal da Bahia. I don't know if I said that correctly, so, he has three important degrees. Edùardo has extensive executive experience in international business relations and ventures. For the 8 years prior to his appointment at the St. Louis Hispanic Chamber, Edùardo was the CEO and investor at Boss, a company of which he is founder. Edùardo is also author. He's the author of several books. He's written books that deal with business improvements, corporate success, and political topics. And I'm sure we have a lot more to learn from Edùardo as he will have an opportunity to speak to our audience this evening. Tony, would you like to add anything to those remarks as part of the welcome?
One of the things, and I was reading some of his bio and went to LinkedIn, is that he has some causes that he's passionate about. And a lot of those causes align with the mission that the HOG has. But again, as we get to know Edùardo, I'm sorry, Edùardo, I'm being informed when using just your first name. But I think we're all going to be friends real soon. As we get to know him, we're going to start to see this alignment of having empathy for the community, the arts and sciences, civil rights, those kind of things that Edùardo brings to the table apart from his duties at the chamber. Those are the things that are intangible. Those are the things that are gonna really, really help a community, especially a community like the Hispanic community in the greater St. Louis, which has a lot more non-for-profit organizations than they actually have other organizations that are paid or staffed like the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So I'm looking forward to these future collaborations and looking forward, Edùardo, to help you with some of the projects you may have in the social arena. So with that, please take it over.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. I've been in St. Louis for 3 weeks now. Still getting adjusted to the weather, facing the snowstorm. It was quite an experience for a Brazilian who is used to pretty much have 2 seasons, right? We have super hot, rainy, and that's pretty much it. And St. Louis is an incredible city. You guys have the 4 seasons, and I do see a lot of similarity with the city that I lived for 10 years before. That is the city of New Orleans in the state of Louisiana. So I spent 10 years there. That's where I got my master's in MBA in finance and a master's in political philosophy from Tulane University. I'm very curious about investigating political platforms and organizations, how they do and conduct themselves in different countries, how they engage membership, how they work with newcomers, how they work with a new generation of young politicians. So that for me was a really good master's degree. And then I spent the last 10 years of my life working politics. And I helped to found a political party in Brazil. I assist, the election of some congressmen in the country, helped to elect a governor in the state of Minas Gerais, and really got involved in a lot of civil movements. My last assignment before I joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce St. Louis was as a CEO and political strategist for the Movimento Avança Brasil. It's a movement that is representing a lot of values of the younger generation of Brazilian politicians and voters and donors and members of what we call a new political establishment. And for me, it was a wonderful experience. We had the opportunity to take the organization from 1.7 million members in all 27 states to 2.7. That's what we did during the time that I spent there. So that was a wonderful experience. In addition to that, in my last year in Brazil, I had a chance to also put my name available, and I run for city councilman in the great city of São Paulo. São Paulo is not a small city. I will not miss the traffic jam because here in St. Louis, I'm pretty much sure it takes 20, maybe 30 minutes to drive everywhere. But in São Paulo, due to the size and the way the city is organized, it takes much, much longer. But São Paulo for me, it's my home when I'm in Brazil. That's where I have my political friends, connections. I'm members with different organizations in the great state of São Paulo. I think I would be eager to connect São Paulo to Missouri. That's one of the things I really would like to do, Tony, in a way that we have the Hispanic and Latino community engaged, informed. I think that's what you folks do a lot. And another thing is that I spend time launching new businesses. Boss is one of them. We did a lot of work with business diplomacy, also helping Brazilian organizations do business overseas, helping international companies, mostly American companies and universities, and Sweden companies and universities to do business in Brazil. And then we had an experience launching an accelerator in Brazil, a startup accelerator. We have accelerated a lot of businesses, working with venture building, venture capital. And for me, when I look at what is happening in St. Louis nowadays, I see the city going through a phase of revival. I have mentioned that many times. People from different countries, people from different walks of life, different industries, segments, and the city is really pushing itself to reinvent the way things are done here. And I truly believe that we as Latinos and Hispanics, we have a role to play. Role to play in terms of Latino and Hispanic vote, role to play in terms of Latino and Hispanic business involvement, community development, economic development, advocacy. I think we can also assist a lot of people in this country that need legal aid, legal assistance. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Help our fellow brothers and sisters who came for different reasons to become legal in this country. I think it's something very positive that we can accomplish. I really look forward to working with organizations and key stakeholders like the Hispanic Leaders Group. I know you have a lot of political connections. You have a very close connection with the governor, I believe, of the state of Missouri. You have local political connections. So I believe I can put my range of experiences at service. That's what I'm trying to say. At the moment, I'm learning about the position. So I'm having a lot of meetings with my staff. It's a wonderful, very talented staff. I'm having a lot of meetings with our board members. We have 15 of them. I got to learn that if there is a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in St. Louis, it's because a lot of people that I see here today was involved in the past. So I want to say to you all, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. I believe that we, as a Chamber of Commerce, we really have to collect a lot of new ideas and find ways to bring people together. That's maybe what we can do in a city that has historical racial issues. Since I was born in a city with the majority of people were Black, 80% of the people in the city of Salvador in Brazil is Black. I understand the struggle. I've been a minority my entire life. I was a minority in Brazil. I'm a minority in St. Louis. We are a minority in St. Louis. But I believe with every challenge comes an opportunity. And maybe one thing that we can do is to really be the mediators. We can help to facilitate the political discourse so we can have conversations with both sides and get people to collaborate. In addition to that, I also had experience working with large organizations, companies in Brazil and in the US. I had a brief experience with WashU, working for the Brown School of Social Sciences as the Social Innovation Lab coordinator. Was a good experience. I could not stay that long in that position, but I really got connected to these premier educational institution. I think that we should not only work with people who already have businesses. I think we have to work with people who want to start a new business, people who need assistance getting in there, people who don't know any idea how the legal framework functions in this country, in this specific region. So I think we have a role to play there too. And getting SMEs, as we call it, small, mid-sized, large corporations to collaborate and learn from each other. In these partnerships, some will bring the money, some will bring the talent, some will bring the drive, some will bring the innovative component. And I think that St. Louis, for me, it's a really special space that we can really be open. We can share about our cultures, our belief system, and get people to learn about each other. So my expectation today is to make myself available to each one of you. I have shared my chamber's email, eplaton@hccstl. So please make sure to send me an email. We can book some time. Just be patient. Since I'm getting a lot of emails these days, be patient, but I'm already answering them. Every email that I get in my inbox, I make sure that I answer that. And I'm booking my time, having quality understanding of our struggles, limitations, but also understanding a lot of opportunity, a lot of the strength that we have as a city, as a community. And as I said before, my entrepreneurial background, for me, it's something that can be utilized to get Latinos starting business, keeping business, growing businesses, bringing what I call a generational, like bringing different generations of Latino business owners together, because maybe we have the dad who started the business and now we have a family transition. So we really have to get that connected, making also our brands stronger, having a representation on that specific area, developing great relationships with government, local government, state government, I would even say national organizations like our United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. So I think we can do a lot of great things. I'm in the learning mode at the moment, so I'm learning a lot. That's why I don't want to make like a general announcement of the future of the chamber yet. I think it would be too early to do something like that. But give me a couple of months, maybe 2, 3, 4 months to have a better understanding of our key stakeholders, key corporate members, key partners, key allies, understand better the motivations, learn from people like Antonio Maldonado and others that I recognize here, like Mauricio Gobo and Susan Gobo, and other friends that are here, understand our challenges and also want to really, add forces together. I'm open for some questions. I believe that I can be here talking about myself, but I would love to engage and interact with you. If you have any questions, please just write it down, or maybe somebody can just read it, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eduardo. I appreciate so much what you have to say. And the fact that you talk about being involved with politics and youth gives me the sense that you have a lot of passion. So this is what I gather from what you said. But if you had to really point out one superpower that you have, you know, this is a question that I always like to know about people. What would you consider your superpower?
This is a difficult question, but that makes me, I really have a lot of empathy. And I'm a good listener. I enjoy listening to people because when I do that, I'm learning. And I see myself as a student of life. So I really want to learn as much as I can. So when I say something, do something, go after something, I increase the level of doing it well. So empathy, it's maybe my superpower.
Awesome. Now, a lot of people want to know why St. Louis? Of all the possible cities that you could have picked, you know, within the whole United States, why St. Louis?
Well, for a couple of reasons. The first one, I have a son from my first marriage that lives in Springfield, Missouri. And he's there. He's a wonderful boy. I love him so much. And I was in São Paulo, you know, in São Paulo, and flying to see your son all the time with the COVID and pandemic is not fun. Mm-hmm. So the family reason is strong. Also, I really like the fact that St. Louis has the right size for me. I'm a true believer that big cities like São Paulo, Mexico City, maybe Tokyo, they might have to really go through major changes in the future because the pandemic thing is not here for a little while. That's my reading. We're going to have to really find different ways of communicating, working together, living in big cities. So a city with 2, maybe 3 million people for me is the ideal city where we can have both a sense of quiet and quality of life, but also have the city feeling. Mm-hmm. And the third reason might be the fact that I spent 10 years in Louisiana, and Louisiana is Hispanic, it's French, and it's American. Uh-huh. When I come to St. Louis, I have the very same feeling. So for me, I feel just at home here because I see a lot of people represented. I do believe that we have to raise our voice in a respectful, collaborative way, but we have a voice and we have to make ourselves visible. And with visibility comes recognition. With recognition comes reward to the Hispanic and Latino community.
Definitely. Now, you just talked about COVID. You recently published the book, and I'm not sure if I translated correctly, but based on my Spanish and the combination of the Portuguese, it's titled Exiled by COVID-19, the effects of the pandemic on the Brazilian family. Can you share with us what you found to be the effects of the pandemic on the Brazilian family? And if you have had any time or observed the parallels that might have been within the American culture?
Well, this book has not been published yet.
Okay.
It's coming up soon. I believe it should be published. I signed final papers with the publishing house in the beginning of January. Should be published, I would say, by maybe March or April. That's the timeline for that. The first edition will come in Portuguese, but if the book sells, we can go to Spanish and then English and maybe different languages. That would be wonderful. Well, sharing a little bit about the insights. I think the pandemic was created in a way that we are not fully aware yet. I think it's also a pandemic in terms of getting something like a virus getting out of control from a lab in a specific country, but also I think it's a way of shifting human behavior, shifting the way we operate in society. So this is affecting so many different industries. It's affecting so many different communities. It's affecting the way we work, the way we handle our daily affairs. So I think the pandemic, it's much greater than just the disease, the virus, you know, and the threat of death and getting people, you know, going through hardship. I have people in my family, so I'm very sensitive to the topic, who went through the process, and that was not fun to see that. I have a lot of respect for the medical and community. a lot of researchers, doctors, nurses, they really are putting a lot of time, energy to fight this. But also I see that politically speaking, a lot of people, benefit. I'm not taking sides. I'm a true believer of political partnerships, and I'm a bipartisan guy. I think we have to work with everybody, mainly if we are in organizations representing the Latino and Hispanic community. Mm-hmm. We have to speak with everybody. We need to collaborate with everybody. But I think we have to be aware. That's for me, one of the reasons I decided to write this book is to raise our basic level of awareness, why this is happening, what that is creating, what have changed, what will remain the same, right? That's a question. What's going to change in 3-5 years from now? So there are a lot of things that we do not know yet. And I explored a little bit of that in this new book that is coming up probably in March or maybe April.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Now, one of the questions that we have from the audience is they want to know, how well is your Spanish?
Yo hablo inglés y hablo también portugués, pero necesito mejorar mi español y necesito hablar con todos. Entonces, necesito hablar con usted en español, hablar con la comunidad. Y creo que en 6 meses, tal vez un poco más, voy a hablar bien. Un día, después de 1 año, muy bien. 2 años. Entonces, necesito mejorar mi español. Pero I have I have a lot of respect. I like the sonido of Spanish language. I have a lot of, that's the way I met my wife when I was in the World Trade Center working. We were taking Spanish classes together, just a side story. So I love the language. I love the culture. I love the diversity, because when we talk about Latinos, we have Spanish and Portuguese, right? But when we talk about Hispanics, it's Spanish only. But I believe that this diversity of languages and diversity of cultures, just look at Central America, Europe, South America, and also some regions in Asia. I don't know if you folks had a chance to visit Macau in China, Portuguese colony. I think that I really got to appreciate Spanish and as one of my favorite language. I read in French. My family, we have some people who read in French and speak French. I'm not that good in French, but Spanish for me has a very special place in my heart.
Awesome, awesome. Now, you are an investor and mentor also of BBROS, which is also known the Brazil Business One-Stop Shop, and which is headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. And the question is, how did you get involved with that?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
When I work for large organizations, and then I got a point in my life, my career, that I have to either go work for another large organization or start my own businesses. And that's when I made a decision. I think that was in 2009, 2008. Back in those days, I made a decision to create my own company. And that, I think, was the best decision I ever made, because now I have the experience of working and doing business with the cap they had of large organizations, but also running small ventures and raising funds, raising capital, working with different types of capital, connecting people on a global basis. I have a solid network. I was the international director of Brazil's entrepreneurial organization based out of Brasilia. So I built relationships with the G20 entrepreneurs, Fiji, Federación Ibero-Americana, de Jóvenes Empresarios. I work also with the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa now. So, and also let's not forget the Mercosur, right? With the 4 founding countries. So that network allowed me to have partners, allies, and clients in different locations.
Okay. Now, based on your observations of what you have seen and what appealed to you within St. Louis, what do you see that St. Louis has to offer to the Hispanic Latinx community? And more importantly, what do you see that needs to be addressed to make this city a more appealing place for Latinos to come and to choose this as their place of destination?
Well, first of all, I have to understand the demographics. I'm doing a lot of research and learning from people like Nes Sandoval, and getting to learn my numbers, learn my demographics, my metrics. So I think it might be too early for me to make such a big statement. So maybe in our next general meeting, or maybe in a different venue, I will be in a better position to answer that question. But I do agree that work needs to be done. I'm really excited to be collaborating with the Hispanic Leaders Group. You have built a foundation in the city, and as we call in the venture area, a lot of spin-offs, right, came out of that. Mm-hmm. So the chamber is one of them. We are growing. I have big shoes to fill. Carlos Amiri did a great job. I have a good relationship with Carlos. He helped me making some bridges. He is helping me still. And I want to learn from the leaders who are being, I think Ildefonso was a leader in the past too of the Hispanic Chamber. Mm-hmm. So I'm meeting with a lot of interesting people who have a sense of history. And with that sense of history, I think after some time, we're going to go after the top major issues in the city.
Okay.
Can I interrupt a quick second, please? You mentioned Ildefonso Gonzalez from DOTEC. And the reason I'm interrupting, because he called me. He has to be in another call. He wanted desperately to get on this call to meet you. And I think he felt guilty enough to do a donation. So thank you so much. But I did wanted to say that I would say hello to you on his behalf. And he's looking forward also to reaching out to you. He's been a long time member of the local Hispanic Chamber, but also Kansas City because of his engineering firm. But anyway, he wanted me to give you a shout out and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think he's already in touch with our staff. I see that Fernanda Estrada is here, our project manager and programs manager. I see other friends and friendly faces here too. But I want to say this, I'm doing the best of my ability to, scheduling time and have one-on-one with a lot of folks who are active in the community and really want to see the chamber as a partner, as an ally. Somebody, I am really eager to connect with people who want to create something new for St. Louis, innovate, the way we do a few things, and also maintain the good stuff that we do already. So there are a lot of good things happening. So let's create a strategy maybe to scale up the good, right? Let's take the next level, the good. Let's maybe improve what we are not doing well yet. And let's find new ideas. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. So if there is a problem, there is a solution. If there is a big company that needs some assistance, maybe we can be helpful. If there is a nonprofit organization that needs our assistance, maybe we can be of some help. And also, let's not forget the individual members. A lot of individual members, a lot of the businesses, small businesses, they need assistance to move forward, to walk the path forward. And as a chamber, our job is to add a lot of value to them and making these connections, helping them to understand that it's healthy to learn how to do business in America. I mean, a lot of prejudice sometimes. People are scared because they didn't trust the realities in their respective countries. So finance is a topic that needs to be further developed, like financial literacy, legal comprehension of what are the resources readily available. So, I mean, we have a full basket of opportunities ahead of us, but we have to prioritize, right? We cannot do everything. So maybe every year we might set an agenda and work on that with our friends, and maybe take that to Jefferson City, and maybe take that to people in Washington, D.C., and maybe take that to large organizations in the city that really want to see St. Louis flourishing. We have so much here. And the Hispanic and Latino heritage for me, it's so important because we are what I call the mediators. We connect, we bridge realities, we bring people together. We have wonderful folks who have amazing stories. I was recently visiting Berto Garcia from Garcia Properties. I believe that most of you have heard of him. It's an amazing story, the way that his dad and his mom came from Mexico, and he started business in real estate, and now they have like multiple businesses, multiple companies, and they are doing so well. So that's one of the stories that we have to replicate. That's one of the stories that make all of us, Latinos and Hispanics, very, very proud. So I wanna kind of make that very visible. And let's not forget Claudia Ederman. You might know her. She is, I think, the founder and CEO of an organization called We Are All Human in Washington, D.C. And she's being a big advocate for everything that is related to Latino involvement in politics, Latino involvement in corporations, Latino involvement in different, sorts of organizations. So we can be helpful, and make people aware that we are a powerhouse when it comes to creating jobs and keeping communities, alive. Look what is happening in many cities in this country, in the United States. A lot of cities, they are getting like a sense of revival when Latino families, Hispanic families come in, help, to bring stability, help to create jobs, help to increase the level of income. So we have to show the good stuff that is out there. And I think that's our role, to really get that message out and say, hey, we are family people. We have a history, and we really want to integrate our past with our future. And in our particular case, I believe for all of us who are here in this call and the ones who are going to watch this later, I think we want to shape the future of St. Louis and the region.
Yeah.
So
we have a couple more questions, and one of them is, as we raise our voices and create new dynamics, how are we going to be respectful to other efforts, particularly of those being led by other communities of color?
Well, that's a great question. I'm married. My wife, my mother-in-law is Afro-Brazilian. Okay. My wife's mom is Afro-Brazilian. Let me say that again. My wife's mom is Afro-Brazilian. Honestly, I think that there is no conflict between Afro-Americans, the Black community, Latinos, Hispanics. I think we should really have very positive conversations, learning about each other's issues, learning about each other's historical problems and challenges. So I think it's not a matter of who is right, who should get more attention, who should get more money, who should get that percentage in a specific construction project. I think it's a matter of coming together and say, hey, we have some obstacles to overcome. And honestly, I think we can do that much better if we are united. So I don't see the chamber during my time having any sort of conflict with any of these organizations. It's quite the opposite. I want to really work with everyone, learn from them, because everybody has a point to make, learn from them, understand the critical issues, and then come up with a very positive agenda. I have a saying that maybe I got that from my years in politics, that we generally agree on 80% of things, but we insist in spending all of the time on the 20% we disagree. So let's focus on the 80%. Right. Let's put our time and energy on the 80% that we agree, and let's build coalitions, let's build partnerships, and say, hey guys, let's accept the fact that some things will never change. That's the 20% right there.
Right. We have another question regarding technology. Here we say technology adaptation has been an issue for Hispanic companies. What is your experience of tech adaptation in other countries, especially when most tech isn't built for non-English speakers?
That's a great question, by the way. Well, I'm not a techie, but I'm a friend of technology. I think we have to use technology to make our lives more productive. I really love the fact that we can have a better balanced life with the hybrid model, right? We can sometimes be in the office, sometimes we can be in our home office, sometimes we can be present in meetings and working with people. I think that in terms of experience, I'm a big motivator. When I see good technological projects, I'm generally, if I see that it's going to bring greater good, and it's going to benefit a lot of people, we're going to increase the outreach. We're going to have like the metrics that we can measure engagement. We can measure how people are interacting with our product, our service. I like that because what we do not measure, we do not see, right? And we cannot improve that. So technology is a tool to take us to the next level in terms of productivity, but we should not deny the fact that some technology can keep us away from each other. So we have to find that, what I call la justa medida, the path forward that is balanced, and we have to recalibrate how and when we use technology. But in terms of me and my connection with technology, I'm friends with technology. I'm a big technology user. Everything that I can do using my social media, my apps in my phone, everything that we can expedite, advance, it's something that I'm a big fan of it. And I want to say something. That's one of the things I really want to do in the Chamber of Commerce. I think there are areas that we can really improve. There is no reason why we are not connecting more with different Hispanic and Latino communities in different countries.
But again, I think the biggest problem we're facing is that tech, is limited only because it is not accessible for non-English speakers, and that tends to be not just tech. I mean, we have noticed that in healthcare issues, education, there's just a lot of things that are limited because of that lack of ability or proficiency in the English language. And as more immigrants come into play, it's causing definitely some roadblocks for people to move forward.
I see this in two different ways. One, it's a business opportunity, right? If we have a number of customers, clients that need a service, someone, a company can offer that service in the target language. Mm-hmm. So this is a great business opportunity that maybe somebody will take advantage very, very soon. I'm speaking now as a business owner and entrepreneur. Yeah. Another thing is it's a political action item, right? This can be a point of discussion that can be raised in different spaces, public debates, maybe meetings with local government, state government, and try to understand what can be done. So we have the two sides of the story.
Exactly. Which brings us to the next question, which just goes lands right in. So the next question that was put on the chat is, what have you observed would be the most urgent political priority for our Latino community?
Yeah, too early. Too early to answer that question. I think I have to wait a little bit more. Would be not wise from my part to make a comment now. I have a lot of respect for the 34 people, including myself, in this video conference. So I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to disrespect your knowledge base. I don't want to disrespect your history. So give me some time to have a better understanding of that. And I will make sure, Maria, that one day in a meeting, I will address that very same issue.
Uh-huh. I like what Alejandra said. She is a lawyer here, and she's stating that representation. We have to run for office and support members of the Latinx community. when they do. So I think that is, we have been talking about that for quite a bit, that the leaders need to step in into taking some roles in the representation in the different parts of government and local and state,
That's a very pressing issue everywhere. I think there is a crisis of leadership in many different countries and communities. But I think that, as I said, we have the numbers, we are growing, we have the demographics, we have the consumer power, we have the voting numbers. I think we do have to get better representation. I agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
If there are no other questions, this is Tony again. If there are no other questions, there is a tradition that we have of the Hispanic Leaders Group whenever we were meeting in person. And that was that we would each have an opportunity to introduce ourselves by standing up and saying our name and who we're representing there that night. For example, Tony Maldonado, I represent the Hispanic Leaders Group. And then the next person will stand up, the next person sitting next to them will stand up and say, I am Ben Molina, I am with so-and-so. Because of Zoom, we usually condense the time more. We have 33 people on the call. I would like to call on some of the people that are on the call. I'll start out with the very names that I have seen on this call for the first time.
Tony, before you do that, I apologize. I missed a question. So can I address that question to Eduardo before we move on to that? And yes. The question is coming from Diario Digital, and it says, the Chamber of Commerce is usually a first contact from people and companies looking for resources and knowledge of the Hispanic community. Language access is usually at the root of that. How do you imagine the Chamber working with the community to improve awareness of a culture and language understanding?
Yeah, we already have some internal meetings. Some people, they want to keep the content in one language only. Some people, they want to have everything we do in 2 languages. So in 2 weeks and a half, this issue has been already being raised. So we are discussing how we can get more people involved. But my basic assumption is that we really have to get people included. Mm-hmm. The more people we bring to the table, the more ideas we have, and we should not judge somebody when they don't have the right skills. We should help them to get the skills they lack. So I think that's part of our chamber mission. If one of our members, partners, allies, friends don't have a specific
and not necessarily meet them, provide them with the skills, but meet them where they are, yes. Because we cannot always expect everybody to necessarily acquire the language at the speed that we want them in order to be benefit from it. So we must meet them where they are.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. We have our business counseling that is happening there. It's always happening in Spanish, and it's something that we have done a lot over the years. And I agree with you. We should not get people discouraged. I think we have to get people encouraged to knock on our door and really get the assistance they need. And honestly, we get so many different types of phone calls. Some people, they need an attorney in the city. Some people, they need to know where they can buy something, in the city. Some people need to know how they can call their parents. So we have so many different issues that go way beyond, strengthening membership base and creating business and economic development. So I agree with you. We have to meet people where they are, and we have to be available.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have much time for the meeting but I will let Tony continue.
Thank you. And like I was saying, so I am going to go to gallery view and pick some people and basically just give me your name and who you're representing for that night. Okay, the first one is going to be Claire Robertson. You're muted.
Right. Okay, that's good. As I say, my name is Claire Robertson, and I'm with the Immigration Justice team of Elliott Unitarian Chapel in Kirkwood, Missouri.
Thank you, Claire. Jose Lopez.
Good evening. My name is Jose Lopez. Professionally, I am the Chief of Latino Services for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services. As my extracurricular activity, I am the LULAC Midwest Vice President. Been wanting to come and meet with you guys for the longest time. I finally had the opportunity to reach out to you.
Thank you, Jose. Maurice Allen.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Maurice Allen. I'm representing Midland States Bank tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Allen. Fernanda Estrada.
Hello, everyone. So I am with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I am the Marketing and Program Manager.
Thank you. Shannon Lasso.
Hi, my name is Shannon Dunphy Lasso. I'm the director of a nonprofit called the St. Louis Ataxia Support Group.
Thank you. Ricardo Martinez.
Hello, I'm Ricardo Martinez. I'm a web developer. I have a small digital market agency and also Juntos Adelante, a personal finance website for Spanish speakers.
Ms. Carolina Santangelo.
Hello, my name is Carolina Santangelo. I work for Bayer Crop Science, and I'm the lead of the business committee representing Unidos, the Latin community in Bayer.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Jimmy Fuller.
Hi, I'm Jim Fuller. I work for Lewis and Clark Community College, and I work with the ESL English as a Second Language program.
Thank you and welcome. Ms. Nancy Spargo.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm a little sick. I am representing both the Immigrant Service Provider Network as well as Elliott Unitarian Chapel. I used to be a very active member of Hispanic Leaders Group in years past.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming back to see us. I hope we didn't make you sick.
No.
Nilsa Scott. Are you available to say hello? Nilsa Scott. Hello? You're muted? No? We can't hear Ms. Scott. There we go. We hear something. Well, we'll come back to Ms. Scott. Luis G. Luis G. Luis G. Luis G, are you on the muted? Okay, I'm going to go back to Nilsa Scott. Well, hello, Nilsa Scott. I know you're having problems. Oh, I see Louis T. Hi, Louis.
Well, so Tony, that's my first name. I'm sorry, I'm not responding well. So good evening, everybody. I'm Luis Martinez. I'm representing Archwell Health today. So as always, and a proud member of HLG, very happy to see you engaged in the community, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you. You threw me for a loop there with the Luis. Luis.
I don't know where that come from. That must
probably
spelling.
We haven't seen this gentleman for a little bit, but I understand he's been busy. Michael Zambrana.
Hi. I tell you what, my father was Louis G, and I was really hoping that was him.
Look, he's looking rejuvenated.
Oh, man, yes. How are you, son?
Good, Louis. Good to see you. Mike Zambrana with Pangea Group, longtime member of the Hispanic Chamber, currently on the Charitable Foundation Board, and also with the Regional Business Council.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for joining us tonight. It was great seeing you again. Okay, I'm going to start again, and this time, Edùardo, I'll introduce some of the other people that are on this call that are either board members or are members of the HLG and are on the call a lot. So starting, we already know Maria Jasic. You want to say hello?
Yes, definitely. Maria Jasic. I'm originally from Bolivia. I'm the secretary for the HLG. I'm also a co-founder for Comunidad STL and active member for the Bolivian Society. And I also help people find and sell their homes. So yes.
Thank you. Yvonne Bollinger?
Sure, certainly. I'm Yvonne Buehlinger. I am originally from Venezuela. I've lived here in St. Louis for over 42 years now. And I'm the Executive Vice President for the Affinia Healthcare Foundation. I'm also Vice President of Affinia Healthcare for Development and Community Relations. And I'm the Vice Chair for the HLG. I participate in a number of other organizations here in St. Louis, and pleased to meet you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Susan Goebel?
Hello, everyone. Hi, my friend Edùardo. And so I'm also from Brazil, and I'm here representing the International Spouse Meetup Group and also the St. Louis Mosaic Project.
Thank you so much. Tolaspo, you're muted. You are muted. Tola, you're muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I am actually retired professor, Spanish professor. I was in the high school for 26 years. And now I am doing something very different, but I am enjoying also as a second career. And I am in real estate. And my joy is that the majority of my clients are Hispanic. So it seems to me that I am in a way teaching in a different area, and I am enjoying it very much.
Thank you. I skipped the name, Ivan Ortiz.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So sorry for not being in the video, but I'm driving, so I'm hearing
be careful.
The Zoom meeting. So my name is Ivan Ortiz. I am the Vice President of the Puerto Rican Society. And also I work for Centene Corporation as a financial analyst, almost a leader, hopefully, and soon to be. And also I am part of the HLG since I don't know how many years already.
Yes.
But thank you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and of course, past board member also. Thank you, Ivan. Alejandra.
Good evening, Alex Johnson, attorney at law, estate planning, very interested in pretty much everything you said. So I can see why they went all the way to Brazil to hire you. Very qualified and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank
Gracias.
you so much. Red Latina STL. You're muted. You are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now.
Okay, welcome Eduardo, how are you? I'm happy that you're here. So we are arranging a meeting with you next week. Hopefully we can have it. The bilingual news here in San Luis. The printing edition, the digital edition, every 2 weeks we print an edition, and well, we load the digital edition as well, and we load the news every day. We're having the Spanish resources guide, 30,000 copies that are happening this year, and the radio, digital radio as well, and well, you name it. Well, trying to spread the word about what everybody's doing here and connect everybody to each other. We're kind of the bridge between communities.
I just want to say that I'm so excited to meet you. And also I had a chance to meet Jaime.
Oh, yeah.
Diario Digital.
Yeah.
And I think we really have to work with media, Latino and Hispanic media.
Yeah,
this is for me, it's crucial. I'm a big fan of the radio and the radio waves. I love podcasts. I love good quality technology. So I think we're going to do well together.
Absolutely. Let's make some noise.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Esmeralda? Muted? Okay.
Hola, buenas tardes. My name is Esmeralda Jarón, and I'm the Program Director for Staff and Community Engagement at the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for St. Louis University School of Medicine. It's a mouthful. Welcome to St. Louis. I actually am a veteran. I served 26 years in the Air Force, and I retired, and now I am one of the directors at large with the board of directors for the HLG, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. Karen, out Oeste.
Good evening. My name is Karen Oresti, Aroesti, if you put the spin on it from the old days. I currently serve as treasurer of the Hispanic Leaders Group. I've been on the board for a while. I am currently also director of administration for St. Louis County. A part of my role is the procurement process oversight, which includes the minority and women's business enterprise. Look forward to doing much more intentional outreach on behalf of St. Louis County to the minority business community. There's a lot of work, and St. Louis County is open for business. And along with my colleague, who I think is on this call, Philip Deitch, I staff the work of the U.S. Attorney's Hate Crimes Task Force.
Thank you. And welcome. I got Philip right up right now. While Philip unmutes, I was so happy to see him on this call. I jumped out of my seat.
There I am. Yeah, sorry, I'm on my cell phone. It's hard to unmute quickly. So yeah, I've just been enjoying being a long-term connected to the HLG. I really appreciate your guest tonight and look forward to getting the chance to work with him within the business community going forward.
Thank you, Philip. Sofia Mares.
Hi, my name is Sofia. I'm from Argentina, and I'm representing HLG as a volunteer in its board of directors in the marketing committee.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Eduardo.
Yes, thank you so much. Mauricio. That's you.
Okay, I was muted over here. Okay, so my name is Mauricio Gobo. I work in Purina as a program manager, but I'm a very proud board member of the HLG, part of the board of directors too.
Thank you, Mauricio. Rafi, how are you, Rafi?
Hey, good to see everybody. I'm Rafi McKillian. I'm originally from Guatemala, from Armenian and Guatemalan parents. So if that's why the last name is a lot different, but I also am Latino. I represent the Latino Roundtable of Southwestern Illinois. We're in Fairmont City, helping the community there. And the nonprofit I work at is called PCs for People. We're helping people get connected to the digital divide by providing low-cost computers. That's what I do with the great people here.
Rafi, tell him, what is that event that you guys host annually that's so great? It's like 4 hours and it's like the local immigrant contribution or something. What's the title of that event?
Yeah, so I am an SIUE graduate too, and we host an event called Immigrants in Our Midst, and we host kind of demographics. We had Nes Sandoval from the St. Louis University, does demographic piece. We have lawyers, business leaders, how to hire Latino-owned businesses, because sometimes they don't understand the paperwork. They want to grow, because I'm also a consultant with the SIUE, with their Small Business Development Center, and we do outreach to the Latino community to start small businesses. So that's kind of a program we do it. It's in the fall. Hopefully we could do it in person this year instead of virtual, but it's very popular because a lot of people want to learn some new topics of our region.
Thank you, Rafi. Ben Molina.
Thanks, Antonio. Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome, Eduardo. Nice to meet you officially. I am originally from Bolivia. I'm here representing the Alzheimer's Association. And I'm also serve as a board member with Social Work Leaders in Healthcare. I am a Brown School graduate, so thank you for the work that you did with the Brown School.
Yes, thank you, Ben. Every time I say Ben's name, I want to say, play ball. Diario Digital, James, you're muted.
Yes, good evening. My name is James Klein. I'm the founding member and executive director of Diario Digital Noticias. We are an all-digital media platform, and we handle the news on a local basis with Missouri's first digital visual newscast, Informe STL. And we have been blessed with being able to extend our journalistic endeavors throughout Missouri and Southern Illinois, making that very needed connection with the community and keeping them informed and giving them journalism on the ground where it's happening.
Thank you, James. I'm so happy to have you on the call.
Thank you.
Sergio Eduardo Munoz.
Good evening, everybody. I'm kind of like Nancy, hunkered down in my home, recovering. Happy to meet everyone there. Eduardo, I hope we get a chance to talk maybe later in the month. We've connected electronically, but I represent the AGC of Missouri, Associated General Contractors, and I'm recruiting for new young apprentices to enter into construction trades. Also past president of the Bolivian Society and a board member of HLG. Happy to see everyone tonight.
It's like a homecoming, isn't it? And Dinora Bomarito. Dinora has been very special for the HLG. She's a long time community service organizer and also a long time HLG member and part of the founding mothers of the organization. Dinora, you have to unmute.
She's on the phone and maybe she's having some hard time to unmute from the phone.
Yeah. Are you able to unmute her?
I just asked her to unmute, but she needs to press a button out there, and sometimes it's hard when you're on the call.
Okay, well, while she works that out, Dinora, please unmute yourself. While she works that out, is there anybody on the call that I missed? Is there anybody that missed introducing themselves? No? All right. Well, I guess we're going to continue. I want to respect everybody's time, and the next topic on our agenda for tonight is to give you a save the date for Hispanic Capital Day. As you all, the majority of you know, every year the Hispanic Leaders Group will go to Jefferson City and meet with department heads, legislators, the governor, and most of his cabinet. Since our last outing in March of 2020, we have done Hispanic Capital Day virtually. And we're gonna do that again this year because of course, safety in our community's health comes first. So this year we'll be doing Hispanic Capital Day via Zoom. It'll be March 7th, 8th, and 9th. The 7th will have Governor Parson. I'm putting together a panel so that from cross-section of Hispanic leaders from the state of Missouri, Kansas City, Columbia, maybe Springfield, St. Louis, so that we may have some questions. It's going to be about the priority that these leaders think we need in Missouri. You know, what is the most pressing priority for our Hispanic Latinx community? And that would be in the field of education, legislation, voting rights, health, COVID, of course, that's a subject, like Eduardo said, we're gonna have that for a little bit. So that's gonna be like on the first day. On the second day, we'll have Legislators Day, where we are gonna invite a bipartisan panel. Hopefully we'll get some representatives and senators from both sides of the aisle to sit on a panel for us. And then our membership can ask them questions. We can, again, talk a little bit about what our legislative priorities are, maybe saying yes to some bills, saying no to others, in addressing redistricting and addressing voter rights. Then we'll have, on the third day, we'll have our health session, where we would invite people to talk with us about the state of COVID, what it's doing, how we can, again, taking this theme of priorities, how we can prioritize for a second wave of pandemic 5, 6, 10 years down the line, and be ready. We know that a lot of the underserved communities, Hispanic, Black, poor, are lacking resources in the community before a pandemic hits. Could you imagine having to always be in a reactionary form rather than have some remedies already in place? For example, having clinics already in neighborhoods that traditionally urgent care facilities that are private probably say, no, I can't afford to be in certain neighborhood because it's not a good business model to be in that particular neighborhood. But we know that those zip codes are the ones that are going to get hit the worst and most effective when something like a pandemic hits, something like what COVID-19 did. Just to give you a good example, I've been on the committee for the stakeholders hesitation up in North County for the St. Louis County Public Department of Public Health. And just last meeting, Christian Northwest Hospital was inundated with COVID patients. The National Guard came in to help. They were so overwhelmed. 80% of those patients came from one zip code, 63137. So we know that that is a very underserved community. And COVID doesn't discriminate. I mean, it really doesn't, but those underserved communities have lesser resources to fight it. So we should have those types of communities prepared. And our city, county, state, and federal government should all come together and make sure that those types of neighborhoods have some infrastructure to be able to fight the next pandemic. Language access for seeking health resources is very important. It wasn't until we were way into this COVID thing that the state of Missouri finally had their website with other languages where people can do drop downs and go to Spanish, go to other languages, Asian languages or Muslim type languages, Arab languages, to find resources for relief of COVID. So those are the things that we want to be able to discuss during the third day. So again, first, March 7th, the governor and a panel addressing some of the priorities for our community. Second day, a bipartisan legislative group coming together to listen to us and what our concerns are. And the third day, the health. And of course, if you go to the first one, you can go to the second and the third one because I think the link is going to be the same once you register for Hispanic Capital Day. Traditionally, when you go to the Capitol, there is a fee to sign up. Is very minimum. I think it was $30 or something. Because we're doing virtual, we're not asking for a fee. So that's a good thing. So by all means, if you have the time, 1 hour, it'll start at 3 o'clock on all days. And we're gonna go about an hour, 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, but 1 hour is what we're giving the Zoom time for to do these meetings. So you have 3 sessions, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3 o'clock, 1 hour. We will send the save the date flyer electronically, and we'll send for you to register, and then you get sent the link. So by all means, this is a time that we do have to come together, especially when we have people like the governor in front of us, and we have legislators in front of us, and we have health professionals in front of us. We need to come together and make it a point to be there and make a stand for our community. It's all part of keeping our integrity as a group, as a community. And the HLG is committed to continue the conversation to strategically address issues of concern for our community. We will continue this coordinating some of these efforts with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Traditionally, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce have always had a contingency alongside of us when we go to Hispanic Capital Day. So those of you that that can put it in your calendar now so that it won't hit you by surprise when we get these flyers out, or all of a sudden it's March 7th and it's a little bit less than a month away. But we had a great success last year with this virtual format. The governor was very happy to come on. We requested 20 minutes. I think he stayed for the majority of the meeting because it was interesting to listen to what we had to say. During these meetings, we had no speechifying. We don't point fingers. Everything's done on a bipartisan level and with open dialogue. So basically, we want to be able to have this open dialogue. We've had an open door policy to the governor's office for many, many, many years, and we don't want anything to stop that. It doesn't matter who's the governor. We have an open door policy to the governor's office. Some years are Democrat, some years are Republican. So it doesn't matter, but we've always gone with sophistication. We've always gone representing ourselves on a very high level, and we've always done a good job of communication. So again, March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 3 o'clock, those 3 afternoons. Anybody have any questions? All right, so we're getting close to the end of the meeting, and there are a couple of people on this call. I'll be calling to request panel participation, but that'll be something between you and I. Thank you. Maria?
Thank you, everybody. We want to thank Eduardo especially for taking the time to join us and be part of this meeting and letting us know his goals, and more importantly, let us get an opportunity to meet him. We can see that we are in great hands. And as I said before, I can tell there's a lot of passion in him, and that's all that matters. You know, it's that passion. And since his superpower is listening and empathy, we are in good hands. So we look forward to working with you. And we got a lot of things to tackle, and we really appreciate you being with us. And we appreciate every single person that took the time to join us, and more importantly, to welcome you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Maria. And Eduardo, I have one last parting comment. As you can see by the people on the call, Hispanic Leaders Group is composed of people that are compassionate for their community, and leaders, either up and coming or established leaders in the community. And by all means, we welcome you to St. Louis. Everybody waves hello and goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Everybody get home safe if you're not at home yet. Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful meeting you all. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.